On June 6, 1944, Allied troops under withering fire from German gun emplacements landed on the beaches in Normandy. We all remember the day as D-Day, but it went by the code name Operation Neptune at the time. It was the largest single amphibious assault in human history, but the Germans defended the beaches fiercely. So many books and movies have been written and produced that nearly every detail of it has been picked over many times. But one thing that may not have been as clear to the Allied soldiers themselves that day, but that soon became crystal clear to almost everyone else, was that D-Day marked the point at which the outcome of the Second World War was very likely decided. Oh, I know, that's a bit of hyperbole, and there is still debate about it. But from that day forward, momentum was on the side of the Allies, in spite of some German victories over the next year. The war was decided, but the fighting went on. Much like what John depicts in Revelation. And in today's reading, victory is announced. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your Daily Devotional for Wednesday, November 17th, 2021. Over the past couple of days, we've read through the curses inflicted on the world by God as 7 angels pour out 7 bowls full of wrath. We've seen how they closely parallel many of the plagues in Exodus, and we've even seen that Armageddon isn't the future site of some cataclysmic battle between God and Satan, but a coded reference to a soon-to-occur battle in which Rome would be finally destroyed and its persecution of the church would come to an end. As a skillful writer, John cast the church's struggle in cosmic terms as a way to assure his audience that, as bad as their circumstances were, God would vindicate them in the end. He knew that, like Allied soldiers on D-Day, they needed abundant encouragement to maintain their resolve to remain faithful to God. And like many of the Allied soldiers who fought and died in the battles following D-Day, many Christians would suffer and die, even though the decisive battle had already been won. And like the Allied soldiers on the front lines, it didn't always feel as though they would prevail in the end. John knew this, and in today's reading, he reassures his audience once again. He writes, "The 7th angel poured out his bowl into the air, and a loud voice came out of the temple from the throne, saying, 'It is done.' And there came flashes of lightning, rumblings, peals of thunder, and a violent earthquake, such as had not occurred since people were upon the earth. So violent was that earthquake. The great city was split into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. God remembered great Babylon and gave her the wine cup of the fury of his wrath. And every island fled away, and no mountains were to be found, and huge hailstones, each weighing about 100 pounds, dropped from heaven on people, until they cursed God for the plague of the hail. So fearful was that plague." One more curse that closely mirrors Exodus: hail. Actually, it reminds us of both the 6th and the 7th plagues in Exodus. The 6th plague in Exodus is boils on all Egyptians, but it comes when Moses throws soot into the air, like the 7th angel here throwing the contents of his bowl into the air. But instead of boils, this last curse brings hail, which was the 7th plague God inflicted on the Egyptians. But what is more important here is what God says from the throne when this curse is inflicted. It is done. This means 2 things. First, it means that with the hail, the curses and woes that we have seen throughout Revelation have come to an end. No more woes, no more curses. But it also means something else, something more important. It means that the war is won. It's over. This is the message John has been pushing us to all the way along, and now it is announced from the throne of heaven. The defeat of Rome is a fait accompli, and the people in the church should take heart. In the final chapters of Revelation, we will see what this victory looks like, how it is celebrated, and what comes next. Sit tight. It is a grand and glorious tour. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.